Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to the fifth live session of Firefly Creative Presents Co.rona Talks, the business post lockdown. Today, we are going to analyze and discuss the impact of COVID 19 on the hospitality industry. We are glad to have with us the general manager of Amanora The Fern, Mr. Amit Sharma. He is a seasoned hotelier with an illustrious career spanning 19 years and counting. He is he is an IHM graduate from Lucknow. He started his career with Grand Hyatt in Delhi. He has worked with some of the top brands in India like Lee Meridian, Intercontinental, Movenpick Hotels, and Sayaji Hotels. And yes, under his strategic leadership, Amanora The Fern has successfully positioned themselves as one of the best hotel and club in Pune. I would like to welcome Mr. Amit Sharma. It's really a pleasure to have on this discussion. I will just try to connect with him. I'm waiting him to get connected. Just give me a couple of minutes. Hello, sir.
Hi, Mridal.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, very much. You're audible.
Yes. Very good evening, sir. It's really a
Good
pleasure
evening,
to.
Mridal. Hope you.
Yes, sir. Hope you are safe.
Yeah. I expect the same from you. In fact, we all are keeping safe.
Yes. Same here. It's a pleasure to have you as an expert today to discuss the impact of COVID on hospitality industry, sir. A very basic question which every session started with, it's how badly is hospitality industry affected by this COVID-19 or a lockdown?
Mridal, even if you asked a common layman today, in fact, that what he feels that which are the most industries which have been badly hit down, he will say hospitality, or say tourism industry, which comprises of hotels, airlines, aviation, clubs, and leisure industry as well. I will say leisure as well because cinema industry. You have got
Yes.
spas, you've got gym, everything, what you call it as a leisure. It's the worst hit industry, in fact, The three independent industries, tourism, hospitality, aviation, has felt the maximum burnout, in fact, I would say. You know,
Uh,
Massive cancellation of flights, the borders being sealed, no flights, no MICE, no weddings, no sightseeing tours. And all
mhm.
cancellation of the hotel reservations had, made this industry see a very huge, big setback, I would say, adding to this impending worldwide economic recession, in fact.
True. I
You
was
know,
going to come.
if I have to talk about it, if you ask me that, our industry, hotel industry, in fact, estimates that in India, branded hotel make a revenue of around 38,000 crores, and we have already got a hit of 30%, by the end of April, in fact. So this is the big impact, in fact, which our industry is this thing, in fact, and we all were very hopeful. I mean, hoteliers have got a very good resilience power. We were hoping to bounce back. We were hoping, expecting of government support, but yes, it was very dejecting. When we heard finance minister talking
Right.
about you know exploring space, but neglecting aviation industry, in fact, which is really on feet. Hotel industry, we are expecting a terrible time to come, in fact.
Right. I guess hospitality and travel tourism industry is the first industry to get affected due to this COVID.
Well, I have to tell you that there have been situations in the past as well. In fact, if you talk about 9/11, you talk about SARS,
Right.
you talk about
Yes.
the recession of 2008. In fact,
Right.
but this situation is very, very grave. In fact, this is much,
Mhm.
much more than that. What we have experienced in the past. In fact, and I would say on the top of this physical confinement is aggravating more to the situation. In fact, I mean, there's no movement at all. There's no business. The business. I mean, all the three conditions in the past, the business was never to zero. In fact, we see
Right.
all big boats coming in that my turnover is more than
And
equal to the turnover done by any automobile big giant. This is
right.
what people have been about.
Majorly in the peak months actually, Feb,
Yes, and
March, April,
Feb, March. I mean, it started from mid of Feb. In fact,
mid
Feb
Feb.
only started. We felt the heat in the Feb in the mid Feb when all the cancellations started coming. I mean, we we can't express, because this industry, impacts 10% of the GDP. If you talk about India's GDP,
Mm.
so hospitality contributes to 10 to 12%, and we also cover 10 to 12% of the Indian employment. More than 5 crores of people are dependent on this industry.
Mm.
So I mean, the government has to get up. In fact, we were very hopeful, but I can. The industry was really looking forward to the deep set of survival measures for tourism. But I would say that the real all the hospitality professionals have been really been dejected. We all were glued to the TVs every day. In fact, I've watched all the 5 days when she was there on the TV, dressing, expecting that something she will talk about hospitality.
Hospitality.
But nothing came up with concrete. In fact, we have. I mean, you can think of honeybees, this thing and all, but you have neglected hospitality. This is something like a step behavior which has been done by the government to us. In fact, we to which we proudly say that we contribute 10% of the GDP. We employ more than 5 crores of people in hospitality, and
Oh,
this is something which dejects you from inner side. In fact.
right, sir. These days, there's a trending phrase on the internet, like we used to say BC and AC. That is before Corona and after Corona. And
Correct,
people
correct.
also people also say that the change is good. So, what do you think is going to be a good change after this COVID-19 in the hospitality industry, according to you?
There are a lot of good changes. I mean, there would be certainly few good changes. In fact, people, we would transit ourselves from, being aesthetically hygienic to clinically hygiene.
Mm.
Earlier we only used to have, hygiene we talk about. Now we'll talk about clinical hygiene. This
Yes.
is the first positive thing which I think that, this thing is there. We will learn in India, the social distancing, we will now, this is the new normal. In fact, we all know that this is the new normal. And we will have to follow these social distancing normals, in fact. So I would suggest that, and if you ask me as a common person, in fact, I would say that, the pollution levels will have gone down drastically. The
Yes.
flora, the flora, fauna, in fact, which we have all
Exactly.
around, and are having their best of the
And
times, I would
best of the times.
say.
True. True. True.
So I
Yes.
mean, these are the positive changes, but I think in looking at the current situation, in fact, it's actually the situation looking very grim. In fact, at this point of time, so we need a certain set of strong measures from the government. In fact, which can take us ahead. We all are very hopeful. Hoteliers are very resilient. We have got, always got a very fighting attitude. We always fight till the last. So we looked at, the government gives us our good share of, benefits to us. In fact, so that, we can survive, because it's a matter of 5 crore people, in fact. And you can you imagine, how many industries are dependent on us, in fact.
Yes. I was going to
So
come on that only.
Yeah.
It's connected business, right? From the vegetable suppliers to the hygiene factor warriors to a number of right from the dry cleaners. If we consider this small sector of this industry,
No, I'm
everyone gets
just adding to it, Mimran, one thing I would just like to add that, in hospitality also industry, in fact, we never had, now we will also think about, flexible working hours, in fact.
oh, is that
I
so?
mean, of course, there are departments who work in the back of the house, what we call as the heart of the house.
Right,
We can definitely, rethink on the strategy of the working of people. In fact, to people who work for us, in fact, that is what is more important. In fact, a lot of emphasis will be given on health and hygiene. In fact, what I
right.
told you now, from hygiene, it will be termed as clinically, clinical hygiene. What a hospital does, a hotel will also have to do in terms of making a complete safe and secure environment. In fact, this thing is it.
Right.
And
Okay.
I would suggest, and what I personally feel, Manal, that one positive side, I think that a lot of ecotourism will prevail.
Okay.
You know, people will get back to River Ganges, Rishikesh, and all these such places. In fact, where the people are saying that the water is so clean that you can actually see the fish. So a lot of
Oh,
ecotourism will happen. A lot of people will get back to nature. People love to get back to nature. In fact, so people like to get to wildlife sanctuaries like Sasangir, Tadoba. So I mean, these things will evolve actually. In fact, post this lockdown. Let's hope that the vaccine comes very soon. In fact, which is
so
very very important.
so can we say that domestic tourism has a good day yet to come?
Miral, India is, if you ask me, our total revenue out of which 85% is dependent on our domestic tourism only. In fact, so yes, we have got a very good fair amount of chance of bouncing back.
Yes.
From my voice, you might find me, that I'm a bit dejected. But yes, I'm dejected. But yes, I'm hopeful also. In fact, on the other side,
Yes, I can
because
understand. I can
we
understand.
know we know our strengths. We know that we have got a great team. We have got a great set of people who are working with us, and Indian hospitality is known for that. So we will bounce back. But the only thing is that yes, this is an hour of crisis. We all have to stay strong. And yes, we definitely need some bailout packages from the government. We expect this from the government. What the European governments like Italy, Spain have done, Singapore have done for
Right,
their hospitality industry.
right. So, how do you think the customer behavior will change?
Well, it's a very interesting topic, in fact, which we all hoteliers are, or hospitality professionals are introspecting or brainstorming these days, in fact, because there's not too much of work, but yes, these are the things, which we all are thinking on a daily basis, in fact. See, first and foremost thing is that, the customer behavior, if you talk about the safety and hygiene, is the first and foremost thing, in fact, which everyone would be very, very particular about, and earlier now this is the first thing that you will see digital menus. In fact, these days
Mm,
we see a less zero touch whatsoever. The zero touch points hotels will have an edge of with other hotels. In fact, so you will see e-menus, even and people, you will see contactless dining. In fact, and a
okay.
lot of things would be, you'll see a lot of change in technology. In fact, the digital innovations and
Automation.
yeah, digital innovations, and I will say that technological novelties will propel further. In fact, at this point of time. So I mean, these are the few changes talking about the safety, hygiene. Then second thing would be the keeping the crowd away. We all have a habit that we used to be very happy when the restaurant is full. People are waiting outside. It's a big challenge
Yeah.
now. In fact,
Right.
now
Right.
nothing concrete has come from the government as in yet. In fact, we all are waiting for these guidelines to come in. So we'll have to reduce on the covers, reduce on the numbers. But maybe we'll have to look at the alternatives. That, for example, we might have to reduce the covers, but we might extend the lunch time from say 12 o'clock till 3:30, which we were earlier
Okay.
doing from 12:30 till 3. So
Right.
we'll have to somehow balance this gap. In fact,
Balance
which
this.
is very very important. In fact, you know another thing is that traveling choice. In fact, what I spoke just now. In fact, now
Hmm.
traveling would be by choice. People will like to go to enjoy nature,
Right.
wildlife, and lot of domestic travel is going to happen post COVID. In fact, a lot of domestic travel will happen, especially the unexplored areas like northeast. A lot
Hmm.
of people will go because we all have just heard on the news and all, that these areas are still untouched by COVID and
Untouched.
safe.
Right.
In fact, so a lot of movement in this area will happen, and you will see a lot of people emphasizing. A lot of our guests will be emphasizing on building immunity. If I have to tell you, you might see a good immunity builded welcome drink in the hotel lobby.
Mhm.
Also, and this is what people will appreciate. You'll see healthy corners. I mean, most of the five-star hotels, they do a luxury buffet in the breakfast. So now you'll see that there would be a specific corner, in fact, which would only have immunity boosting food. People will be, the food habits will also change. In fact, people will
Change.
prefer
Yes.
more vegetarian, more vegan. I know people would be very specific. They would like to know each and every ingredient used in the dish. So these are the couple of changes which I am anticipating. In fact, plus also there would be a lot of the complete meaning of luxury will change as well.
Mhm.
India is known for its big fat weddings. In fact, you
Yeah,
will
yeah, I
see.
was going to come.
Yeah, so you'll see now that we just did a small wedding, as requested by the government authorities out here. So I was
Right.
actually thinking that day there were only 15 people, and can you imagine,
Oh,
there was e-ashirwad given by the parents, in fact, on the mobile phone to the bride and
online
bridegroom.
Ashirwad.
Yeah, and this wedding was done by the police commissioner's office. In fact, came to us.
Oh,
It was
oh,
a wedding of a doctor and a technocrat. So we did it here, and it was only 15 people, and there was no
oh.
family member there. The police, the cops only, did all the functionaries of relatives and all. So, and from the phone itself, they gave Ashirwad. The parents gave Ashirwad. So I was just thinking and amazed as well. Is this the new normal? You might see that all these big fat weddings going for a diet in India for some time at least.
True,
At
true,
least
true,
till
true, true.
at least
And
till
I,
December, I anticipate the same. In fact, till the time the vaccine comes in, if the vaccine comes in, say next month, we will get back to new normal from the month of September, October only. But if, but if we don't get a vaccine, this might be the
it's
future, in fact. And see,
long
a lot
term.
of things will happen. People will avoid going to hotels. People might not go to big lawns for weddings and all. They might avoid big functions, but they might do small functions, in fact, within the house, in their in the clubhouse, of the society now with 20, 30 people around. Because nowadays you see in the news also, only functions up to 50 people are being allowed at this point of time.
But, but that's going to affect your business big time.
Yeah, it is going to affect, but we as hoteliers will have to look at the alternatives. If they're not coming to the hotel, then we'll have to go to their home and cater them at the home as well.
Right, 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 right. That's going to. So, what is your preparation for this business disruption, or any two scenarios you think that hospitality industry should be ready with their response procedure, and I mean how to get customers trust and how to make profits in such situations.
See, first and foremost thing is that talking about the customer trust. In fact, we have to start reassuring our regular guests. In fact, from today itself, you
Hmm.
know, be using the digital media platform, be using social media. We have to be very, very active about what are the measures. See, because everybody is, nobody's getting out. In fact, at this point in time, but yes, everybody is using social media. Everybody is planning, that what has to be done post COVID. So first and foremost thing is that that brand connect. We have to get connected to our regular guests,
Connect.
our regular corporates, our regular clientele which we have. We have to
Right.
assure them that yes, we are 100% safe, and we are adapting all the measures. In fact, we are doing all the measures. So that I mean, for example, say digital media. We have to make a small video on all the preparations what you're seeing at this point of time. And
True.
then we have to make the our guests aware that yes, you are 100% safe. Even if you're entering my hotel, your tire cars are also going to be sanitized. So you are coming to
Uh,
a safe place. This reassurance has to be done again and again. And a lot of you see a lot of new innovations coming in from technology. In fact, be it a room service menu, be it we'll have e-menus. I told you we should have
yes.
zero touch points at this point of time. This is what the guest will expect, that he should not touch anything. Be it even if
Anything.
for example, your TV remote in the room, he will also expect that you should have the TV remote in your mobile phone. In fact,
Oh,
so this
universal
would,
remotes. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
because these are the few touch points which everybody uses and everybody touches. So it is very, very important that we come to those expectations. In fact, and sanitization and hygiene will be the new scrutiny. In fact, it will be a completely a game changer for
Yeah,
everyone. In fact. And
has to be. Yes.
it is very, very important that what we depict in our in our promotions, in our digital media promotions, social media promotions, that has to happen on the ground. The staff has to be very, very well trained. So a lot of us, in fact, people like us, the staff which is in house, they are giving the special training. In fact, on this. I mean,
Oh,
today only we had a training from FSSI on these standards. So the staff has to be well trained as well about
oh.
it. In fact, even it is not from the only from the front of the house, from the guest per se. It also has to be from the
Mm-hmm.
back of the house, the staff
Entry mode.
entrance. The staff also has to be
Yes.
checked there and there. And things like Arugya Setu app, you must be knowing that now
Mm.
guest
Yes, yes.
coming to a hotel, he will also be checked about the Arugya Setu app. So this also has to be downloaded to the minds of our staff as well who are working with us, as well as the guests. So everybody has to be aware of it's a new normal. So we all have to get
Right.
adapted to it on a very, very quick note, so that it doesn't affect our business.
And also one thing, on what parameter should we decide to stay at after the COVID? And everyone used to go to the social media or the trip advisor and check the ratings of the hotels, resorts, and then consider the stay. Right now, what will be the new parameters to
See, Mrinal, I will tell you one thing very, very clearly. In fact, post-COVID, I also have got a big question mark on the spending intent of a guest. In fact, people would be cautious at this point of time. But yes, people would be ready to spend provided they get the confidence that yes, this is a safe and secure place. So I mean, first and foremost thing is that your the hygiene and the sanitation what we're talking about, it has to be marketed well. People should know that what are the things organization is taking care for the guests. In fact, when he or she is checking in a hotel, I mean, you will see now web check-ins. In fact, what you do in online check-ins, digital check-in and check-out, in fact, happening in hotels. So these all small procedures where I guess because today's guest will not like to go on the counter and put his hand and even want to touch or sign any bill. In fact, so everything has to be automated at this point of time. So we have to think in that time. And hotels which are well equipped about all these things, I think they will certainly have a edge as compared to the other hotels. In fact, and also the
so
brand recall value will also play a very, very important part. In fact,
true.
all the brands. In fact, they already have got their systems in place. In fact, we
Or
have also
sorry,
already have all got the systems, the new SOPs in place. In fact, and the staff has also got started training on the same. In fact, because it's a lockdown, so they have got enough time. We also are doing a training on a regular basis, at our place as well on the same. So I mean, the brand recall value will also the brand will also play a very, very major part. In fact, plus
very much.
rating we have to be very, very critical about ratings and feedback, the online feedbacks what we talk about. It used to be before as well, but now when a person goes, the first and foremost thing the person will look for whether if anything is mentioned about hygiene or not.
Mm, right.
Imran, it's a big blow to hospitality industry today. If you're coming, even if I'm greeting you with a big smile, a nice smile, even a great eye contact with a great body posture, you will not notice that. But if
So the
I'm
welcome
offering,
process also will change at the hotels.
yeah, but if I'm offering you a sanitizer right away at the entrance when you're entering,
Entrance.
and if I'm sanitizing your, if you're having a luggage, if I'm sanitizing the handle of the luggage and picking it up, it will create a deep impact on the mind of a guest.
So welcome sanitize.
I mean,
Instead,
it has to happen. It has to happen. Now these coming few months would be very tough for all of us. In fact, on these fronts,
yes,
hygiene front, you can't afford to take any sort of any risk because one negative review, one negative comment, will take everything away. In fact, so ratings
right.
and feedback, will always play a very, very important, vital role in driving the business. In fact, but yes, we have to be well prepared. In fact, we have to be well prepared. We are all, I mean, in terms of laundry, also, the people have got
Mm.
don't have an in-house laundry, they have to ensure that they give it to a nice laundry, which is they are using all the chemicals which are clinically tested. So these are small, small things which are very, very important and which will make the difference. In fact,
Right, sir. There's one report on the online thing which we had that the report predicts that second quarter of the year is going to be the worst hit, and
yes.
hotels will be unable to drive rates and may even seek to attract business at deep discounts. What are your views on this?
But it depends from, see, yes, the situation is tough, I would say. But yes, we are also hopeful. Yes, there would be a certain amount of deep discounting initially, in fact, once we open. But I don't think so that if our product is good, in fact, and we are able to win the assurance of the people, all especially the chain hotels.
Mm,
In
mm,
fact,
mm, mm.
we would be able to command the rates because we have been always been dependent on the domestic market. In fact, and the market has paid us very well. In fact, for what services we have offered. But yes, initially this is just a panic in the market which has been created as well at this point of time because all the businesses are shut, nothing is moving. But I'm quite hopeful that deep discounting initially will happen, but I think the chain hotels or the bigger hotels, bigger establishments will not get into this impact.
Right, but as you said, there's a question also regarding the small hotels and BBs. Like, how will the small hotels and BBs get affected as they are losing their income in this vacation period? So, any suggestion how they can cope up with it?
Well, they have to certainly look at their cash flow at this point of time. In fact, that is very, very important. In fact, this is one should understand the impact of the cash, the working capital and profitability. Which I would suggest. In fact, one should have the business on books, the cash flow for the next 6 months in mind, very clear. That what is the
Mm,
cash flow I'm going to have in my mind for the next 6 months. No, you have to minimize all your operational expenses and capital expenditure. This is very, very important. In fact, you have no other choice. In fact, left. In fact,
true.
we should have
So,
a very we should have a very effective revenue management system. In fact, in place, and 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 the pricing model what you keep should respond to the market.
Mhm.
You have to be adaptable. In fact, this is I would say, and you have to keep all your plans under very active scanner, very, very active. In fact, this
Right,
is I would.
right, right. That is very important actually. And so, I understand in this crisis.
And just wanted to also add one more thing. In fact,
Yeah.
you have to proactively manage all your stakeholders at this point of time because all the stakeholders, be it your
Mm,
employees, be it your vendors, be it your suppliers, be it your owners, be it the management company. So you have to very, very proactively, anticipate and manage everybody amicably. That is the need of the hour because everybody is in a very panic these days. In fact, they get panicated very easily. In fact, because a lot of news they hear from here, there. So but all the stakeholders have to be assured, in fact, and they should not lose confidence, and that is what's most important.
right, right, right. So I understand in this crisis, the major responsibility is on your shoulder as a captain or as a leader. I can say, as you will have to take care of your team also and plan the future also. So how are you managing it, and or how have you planned it?
Well, the first and fourth thing is very clear communication. In fact, you should be well connected with your teams. In fact, now you see the changing scenario. You just spoke that changing scenario. I just forgot to add with this, all these webinars and all this, the Zoom
Mm,
app coming in, Google coming in, and all this thing coming in. You should always get connected to your teams. In fact, we do it very often. In fact,
great,
tell them
great. That is important.
tell them the exact situation to your team. Discuss with them that what has to be done because everybody is aware that this is a situation which has never ever arisen before. In fact, and this is actually we all. I mean, this industry, we nobody ever imagined that such a day would also come. So we all have to work together. We all have to support each other. That is what is most important at this point of time, in fact. So effective communication, a clear communication, be it your employees, be it your owners, be it your vendors, be it your suppliers, all the stakeholders that I'm talking about. There has to be a very effective and clear communication.
Right, right, right. So, what are the operational recommendations from your side? Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you hear me?
Sir. Yes,
See,
yes, yes.
when you just talk about, we just spoke about when you're managing financial issues. In fact, so as I told you, in fact, we should try to cut on the cost as much as possible, in fact, but not at the verge of the standards, I would say clearly.
Yeah, true.
We should be having a very clear uh, cash flow of next 6 months in our mind. At what is my cash flow, what is my business on books, which is going to happen, because most of the business houses are talking about hospitality. Everything has been cancelled at this point in time. So you have to be very, very careful, in fact, in taking each and every step. Please, get rid of all the capital expenditures if you've got any plan in mind. And as of now, this is my suggestion, in fact. And again, I would say that keep all your plans, whatsoever you're planning, under very thick scanner. Try to take whatsoever we hoteliers, we have got quite a few good money, lying with the companies who do business with us, and we try to recover them as soon as possible. In fact, that is what is
Right,
important,
right,
because
right.
the everybody is supporting each other at this point, and you should just try to survive in these tough times.
True, true. And what is the biggest mistake a small business can make in this crisis?
See, there are, if you talk about the biggest mistakes at this point, if you're not getting adapted yourself to the new normal, that would be the biggest mistake. Second thing is that if you're not using the technology and automation, in fact,
Right.
that is also one of the biggest mistakes, I would say. And you should not also see, a lot of people feel that, Mridal, I'll be very honest and candid. A lot of people feel that business nahi hai, so we should not do any marketing.
I was,
Yeah, that that is there. So I would say that you should not reduce your marketing efforts, because it makes you get connected to your prospective clientele, what you're looking at.
I guess this is the best time to market.
Yeah, so I mean, so I would suggest that this is also one of the best things, in fact, there. And also, you should connect your core customers. Okay, in my terminology, guest. You should always get connected. Be it your cat. We say cat A company, cat B company, cat C company.
That's
So
it.
we have to be getting in touch with them on a regular basis, and this is what we all are doing at this point of time. So I mean, so at least you stay connected with them. Once the market opens, I'm sure that the when the market opens, or once the vaccine is developed and it's available in India, the market will explode like anything, and then there will be no looking back as well.
The spirit has to be the high.
Yeah, yeah.
The word hospitality has never been so meaningful, sir. Like empathy, generosity, and most importantly, the sense of service. What
Correct.
is your view?
Mrinal,
I'm talk on this.
Mrinal,
I'm talk. Sorry to cut you. But
no,
the top chefs in Paris or in Italy, or even I can say in India, are serving medical practitioners. Is there any contribution towards this society from your side or your organization or
Mrinal,
such initiative?
well, one thing is very, very clear with us. We are a company which strongly believes in hospitality with responsibility.
Yeah,
And giving back to society, in fact, I would suggest, is the biggest. Mother Teresa said that what is not given is lost.
lost. Very true.
So this is the right time, in fact, that this is the right time to show your empathy towards the society. I mean, we as an organization, we have got a couple of labor colonies nearby. We ran the community kitchen, in fact, and we have served more than around 18,000 meals.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we have served around 18,000 meals to all these needy people. But uh, so I would also like to say that not only me, this is only that my organization doing. A lot of people in my industry are doing it. If you see in
Yes.
Bombay, if you see in Pune and other hotels, the hotels like JW, Doubletree by Hilton, a lot of
Mm.
hotels have taken the initiatives. In fact, I've,
Initiative.
I've, seen, I've seen people going out in cars, in fact, and distributing food packets to all these laborers and all these needy people. which and hospitality is all about empathy. In fact, it's all about kindness. So this is the most right and appropriate
Right.
time I would say that people should come up. In fact, and give it back to the society. And I think this is the biggest chance you can have in your life, giving back to society. In fact, because
Right.
no other situation can be more grave than this. You see today, in fact, every day when you're watching news at this point of time, people say that you should not watch news. You become like a sadist. But looking at the pitiful condition of the laborers and everything, I think I would like to ask everyone to come forward and help these poor people who are in actually dire need at this point of time.
As you also said that history tells us that the steep downturn will be followed by a strong rebound of the industry.
Correct,
Hospitality is one of the most resilient industry and has already demonstrated this its ability to
correct,
recover quickly, as it's done after 2611 and even 2008 crisis, as you said.
correct, correct.
So according to you, how much time do you think it will take to rebound or to see the full lobby and rooms fully booked?
Mrinal, if you have to ask me that, I see the dawn of the normalcy coming in not before by end of 2020. I'm very optimistic person, in fact, but I see the dawn of this normalcy coming in only by the end of 2020. It says in November, last of December. This is what I'm looking at. So, I see that by December, post December, hopefully, the a lot of claimants are there that the vaccine will also come up by month of November, December. So post December, I think the business should come back to normal. But if I have to be very honest with you, this the whole financial year of 2021,
2020.
I think it's actually wiped out. We are only here for survival. In fact, I would say. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
the,
But
sorry.
Pranal, talking about adding about this thing that you just spoke that what will the post-COVID effect? In fact, first point I would suggest that India will be more incredible. We have got this tagline, "Incredible India."
Incredible India. True.
Yeah, post-COVID, that India will be more incredible as ever. In fact, a lot of domestic tourism is also going to happen. In fact, and there would be a good people are actually fed up, being caged in their houses. So people will move out once this thing is there. In fact, and there will be a couple of new things happening also. In fact, you will choose your hotels differently. In fact, very differently. Not necessarily
Right.
that it's a good branded hotel you will go, but you also go to places where you see the hygiene standards, the sanitation is on a very high side. So people will
Mhm.
prefer going to smaller hotels as well. People will prefer going to boutique hotels.
True.
So these are a couple of changes I anticipate. But yes, couple of things, would be like, for example, see your flight tickets. Once the airline, is operational, the flight tickets will be on a higher side. So we should be ready to shell out some money,
Sure.
if you want to actually, want to travel through air. In fact, uh, we are located in Pune. I suggest that road trips will come back, especially for Pune people. For example, we want to go travel to Tamini Ghat during the rainfall or to Mahabaleshwar. We travel by car only. So so
Mhm.
the road trips will come back. I mean, all Puneites who were traveling Pune to Goa by air, I think they will travel by car. They will
By
prefer it
car.
by more.
Yeah,
It will prefer more
road
safer.
trips will be more. Yeah, yeah. Road
Yeah,
trips
road
will
trips
be.
will make us will come back. In fact, then
Right.
as I told you, the big fat wedding will go for a dive.
Mhm.
The Indian, we you have seen my place. In fact, we do a lot of big fat weddings in Pune.
Right, right.
But
I was going to ask you the difference between those weddings and the weddings what you said.
I'm very hopeful that this will come back. I'm hoping that by December everything should come back to the normal. In fact, and this new normal goes off. This is my anticipation.
Right,
Yes,
right.
and luxury will become more affordable, Mrinal. In fact, as I told you, it will be a bit more affordable. The positive sides, one more positive, which I see that a lot of mice, the meetings, the big conferences which were happening in Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka, because they were very cheaper. People
Mhm.
and companies will not travel there now. It will happen in India, in fact. So
But
this is a big chunk of business which we are very hopeful of, in fact, which we'll get.
but don't you
And
think the number of meetings will be reduced because of these online Zoom sessions and other platforms?
Mrinal,
Will that affect?
see, this will first quarter, yes, I would say. But once this vaccine is done, we all are human beings. We
Yeah.
all want to meet each other in person. We all want to
Mhm.
go out. We all want to travel out with families. We all want to have a vacation. We can't live in a virtual world, always, in fact. So, I mean,
Then
there's a so, I mean, we all will move out. I mean, let's be hopeful, in fact, that, things will
yes.
better out. This is just a bad phase.
It will.
This shall too pass as well, in fact. That is what we anticipate, in fact. And we
Right.
Indians are known for our fighting abilities, in fact, and we will bounce back, in fact, and especially hospitality, with the kind of workforce, with the kind of, people what work for this industry, looking at the aggression, looking at the passion, rather. In fact, I am very sure that will bounce back in a tremendous record time, I would say.
Right, right, right. Very truly said. There's also one more question, sir, on the online session by Heyman. He says that considering clinical hygienes, 5-star and 7-star, will have businesses sooner than others.
Miral, yes, if I have to tell you, because today only in the morning I attended FSSI conference. In fact, when you come to my place, and for example, if you see, there are my
Yeah.
20 of my employees are certified by FSSAI, which is the highest
Oh,
body in India. And
right.
in terms of hygiene and all, you will always have a faith that these guys are well trained and they everything will be in order. And they are going to also do. We have also requested them to do audit as well regarding post COVID, so that all the hotels are well prepared as well. So once the such sort of audits are done, I'm sure see, all the big hotels or chains have got a brand value, be it
Mhm.
Taj, be it Oberoi's, be it Accor, be it Radisson, be
Yes.
it us. Everybody has got a certain brand value, and the guests are attached to them. In fact, so I mean, we already have got a new SOPs in place. In fact, if you ask me for what Fern Hotels has, we already got the Fern, the new SOP, standard operating procedures, where a lot of changes have happened,
Oh,
and we have already started working on it. And
oh, great.
only thing is that we I would just like to assure all my guests, in fact, that this all those new changes have been adapted, taken very well, in fact, and we are ready for it, in fact, and we are eagerly waiting to open, in fact.
Right. What you said earlier many a times that there can be or there should be a huge support required from the government as well. Support may be in the form of changes in the travel insurance policy covering COVID risk, or what are your expectations from the government?
But in fact, as I told you, Indian tourism, travel hospitality impacts 10 to 12% of the Indian employment, which is
Hmm.
almost around 5 crores plus people, in fact. The Indian tourism industry has gone to a state of disbelief and shock, in fact, post, this 20 lakh package where we didn't get anything, in fact. And, we are the contributors of 10% to the GDP, in fact. So, I mean, what I expect from the government is that, we should have an interest and collateral free long-term fund for at least for a year, for at least for paying salaries and basic operating costs, which government should give it to the, all the people, all the companies, who are into hospitality at this point, because which is badly needed. But I know, you see now this is the 2 months, it's a complete lockdown. How we are paying the salaries? The government asked us to pay the salaries. Okay, we did pay it. There's no relaxation on your electricity bills. There's no relaxation on any other statutory payments. Even we have asked for they have hiked the 15%, the excise fees, which has been just been quashed in the court.
Oh,
So I mean, such things, in fact, is very very disastrous. And how would we? I mean, I'm telling you, 60% of the restaurants in Pune would be shut post COVID-19.
oh,
Right.
that's bad.
It's a very scary thing which I'm telling you, but very few people will be able to sustain and survive. So I'm telling you, our industry at this point of time is only fighting for the survival, which is very very important. No, we should have a waiver for 12 months of all the fixed central and state statutories, I will say. No, all the, and we should have and other banking liabilities as well, where you have to pay
Mhm.
the EMIs. So, I mean, as we
EMI.
deferred EMIs, at least you should defer it for a year at least for us as well, for hospitality industry. All the loans which are being on us should be deferred for at least a year. In fact, all the statutory, be it the central government statutory or the central state government statutory, all should be deferred. You need to support us. I mean, the government needs to support us. In fact, and it's like a step behavior being done with the hospitality industry. You're thinking about space exploration, but you're neglecting aviation.
Aviation. Right,
So I
right,
mean,
right.
these are the things they think that the industry has really gone numb, I would say, from a lack of any umbrella direction from the government, in fact. And no, there has been no fiscal or any monetary support announced till date. And
Till date. Right.
we all were very hopeful. In fact, we were thinking that something will come out. But I'm surely dejected, by the behavior. In fact, by what we anticipated and what we got. In fact, the news channels also flashed that there's a special package coming for
Special.
tourism, hospitality, and everything. But it was really dejecting. At the end of the day, in fact, and you'll see lot of hotels also not opening up at this point of time because the Milan, the fixed costs are huge. In fact, the
Right.
fixed costs are huge to operate a hotel, even a mid-sized hotel. The costs are huge, and it's a labor. You don't have to forget that it's a labor-intensive industry.
Right, right.
And
So, so
a lot of lives
as
are
you,
being attached with
as
us.
as you also said that hospitality industry and the travel tourism industry is the first industry to get affected and is the last one to get to which industry when there is it's the last industry that will recover,
Correct.
right?
But
So
I would say that, see, most of the industries, I would say 75% to 80% of the industries are being affected. Hospitality, yes, we have got a major beating. I would agree. But yes, you see automobiles, not even a
hmm,
single vehicle being sold. We all read in the newspapers. You talk about real estate.
yeah,
No, you
we,
talk about
we are
manufacturing. You
we are
talk
going to
about
have a discussion on real
yeah,
estate tomorrow.
yeah. You talk about sports and fitness. I was
Yeah,
just listening to this thing. You talk about petroleum industry, Munal. In India we
ah,
didn't. You talk about the petroleum, the crude oil. So it's in shambles. The condition, I mean, it's actually very scary. In fact, when we're talking about all these things, but you see how many livelihoods are dependent on these industries. And I'm telling you that if the government doesn't take any good steps for hospitality, especially for hotels, aviation, and tourism, in fact, you will see quite a big hotels also shutting down. You will see larger bankruptcies, happening. In fact, or you'll see business closures. You will see tremendous job losses. Who would be responsible for
well,
this? I mean, we pay the money to government in terms of taxes, various taxes, GST, everything. But
mm,
yes, this is a point where we also expect some sort of a support, some sort of
from the
fiscal
government.
or monetary support from the government. And I really see no reason why we are being ignored. It is a sort of a shock, which we get because when you see news channels flashing that tourism, hospitality, and this thing is going to get a package, and you don't get anything, it's a really shocker.
So on the similar lines, I would like to ask. There's a question here also that how will the go local debate and the Atmanirbhar campaign impact this industry?
See, I mean, we also want the Atmanirbhar. In fact, what he has said. In fact, that you should be this thing. Uh Go local. We want to also promote local products. In fact, if you ask me, the industry has been working very much on it. Earlier were the days in where in hospitality, a lot of imported products were being used.
Right.
Even in the kitchens, I'm talking, just giving a small example. But yes, now looking at what we are doing in India, we also encourage such products within our this thing. We give them a preference. In fact, in our kitchens, in our other departments like housekeeping or wherever we have to buy things from outside. This is a very good measure. I appreciate the government, for taking such a fantastic measure. In fact, It's really appreciated. A lot of industries. I'll just give a small example, Mrinal. In fact,
Yeah.
we buy our linen bags from an NGO. The name of the village which got washed away.
Mm-hmm.
They make the linen bags for us. Those ladies, they make the linen bags for us, and this is the linen bag, and we keep a shopping bag as well in our rooms for the same. In fact, so we are
Oh,
trying to promote the local stuff as much as possible. In fact.
oh, that's great. That's great.
So these are the small. I just give you a small example and initiative, but this is a very commendable, in fact, effort done by the government. In fact, let's make local global. In fact,
Yeah.
talking about the local. Yeah, local means what? Local cuisines. And you talk about, if you talk about hospitality cuisines,
Cuisines.
we have got a special page in the menu where we promote the local food.
Oh,
Food like misal pav, snacks like vada
oh,
pav, which are from the specific region. In fact, if you come to my breakfast buffet, there are
it's
always three.
mouth-watering, sir. It's been long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We have.
You come for breakfast, you'll see 3 to 4 dishes. We want to promote dishes from Maharashtra. For example, dishes like Sauji curry, Sauji mutton
Right.
curry. Would have. I mean, we want to do. We try to promote as much as local as possible. In fact, this is what we all want to be the contributors to the nation. In fact, but yes, on the note, I would also request the Indian government. In fact, to look at the pitiful state of hospitality industry. I mean, the mindset of all the people who are working with this industry, all the families who are attached with this industry, who are dependent on, on the employment from this industry. They're actually into shambles. You must be hearing news that, salaries are not being paid in small
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quantities and all. These sort of news is actually very painful, and we never anticipated this. And we only request that this. That is why I said that we request a loan from the government, which should be interest free. No, and so at least the basic salary, the basic, they should not suffer. They can be paid, and once the industry bounces back, yes, everything will be good to go.
But does that mean that the manpower or there's going to be a layoff in this industry big time?
Mrinal, I'm very skeptical about it, but yes, I would say if the situation continues like this, and we have got no government support, yes, that day is not very far soon. In fact, I would say. In fact, it has already started. In fact, you're talking about various industries like, say, cinema industry, be it, gym, sports and spa. Everywhere it is all the restaurants. You talk about, they say that 60% of the restaurants will not only open. And how do you expect a restaurant to survive when they're not doing any business? And they're having the fixed cost like electricity cost coming, a bill of 5 lakh rupees coming to them. How would they pay? I mean, this industry doesn't work on very big margins. In fact, it works on a very thin margin. We have to understand. And you might see that the hotel is very big. We might be charging you to the 300 or 400 bucks for a dish, particular
And
dish. But you should also understand the operating cost what we have.
that is also to be considered, right? Rightly said.
Cost. We work on very, very thin margins. So, we also need support, in fact, and that is why I request the government that, the government should give us interest and collateral free long term fund for paying salaries and managing operating costs at this point in time. In fact, the waiver of 12 months of fixed center and state statutories, in fact, all banking liabilities without any penal or, any interest, in fact. This is what, otherwise, I'm telling you that you'll see large scale bankruptcies. In fact, all
Mm,
big business closures. In fact, huge job losses. We have got 5 crore people, working for this industry in India. And
oh,
we contribute to the 10% of the GDP. In fact, so-called GDP of India, 10%. In fact, more
10%.
10 to 12, around 10 to 12% of the total employment in India. The hospitality sector takes care. So the
Oh,
government has to do something credible, in fact, to bail us out. At which what other governments like Italy, see, I understand Italy or
mm,
Singapore or
yes,
Spain,
smaller.
they are smaller countries. But
Right,
yes,
right, right.
looking at the magnitude of what we contribute to the GDP, the government can't simply ignore us.
Also, sir, you represent a big brand in hospitality industry, as the relation between brand and consumer starts by building the trust.
Correct.
So regaining customers' confidence will be the first step in overcoming the crisis.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So do you think social media or any type of marketing that can help this? How have you planned it?
Mrinal, talking about social media is a very interesting subject, in fact, which really appeals to me. Uh, Talking about, where do you find inspiration from to travel? It is online these days.
Online. Yes.
Most of the inspiration what you get to travel is from online or social media, basically, I would say. So that's the basic source, where most of your business is coming from. You can't simply ignore it. In fact, it is very important for a hotel or a hospitality organization, in fact, pri- to prioritize the visual content of the marketing at this point of time.
Mm.
It should appeal to a customer or a guest, I would say in my language, for the new normal, that yes, you are ready.
Yes.
This is what is most important, that yes, we are ready to combat this COVID-19. This, you are safe at a absolute. So once this thing gets into the customer guest's mind, then only the guest is going to come to visit to your place, in fact. So you can't simply ignore. In fact, you see the social media followers, you see the bloggers these days, they write good about you. You will have 20 people, he has written good about it, so you should go. So today you can't simply ignore online. In fact, these things. In fact, and especially social media and customers. You should try to make the guests or the customers should engage with your brand. This is what is most important. They
So
should engage, and
a lot, yeah.
you should be able to develop the sense of loyalty. In fact, you
Mm.
see nowadays lot of influencers. In fact, online, they influence people, and they do a fantastic job.
So a last question and a very interesting and which is the concern of many of the individuals here, that how will be the experience if one enters the hotel? How kind of what kind of environment will be there and how they will be treated is the major concern.
Now, we all should be ready for the new normal. In fact, I would say it's going to be a very, very different experience. In fact, now when you are coming, for example, say I'll give you a small this thing. My car has gone to pick you up from the airport. You know, if you are not wearing a mask, you'll be offered a mask as well, a nice sanitized
Oh,
mask to wear. In fact, you will be a sanitizer will be offered to you. Your luggage would be the handle would be sanitized there itself and then kept in the
oh,
vehicle. In the vehicle, when you're sitting, there might be a sneeze guard in between the driver and the guest and you. So, I mean, these sort of preparations are going to happen in this new normal. In fact, that is why I say that it's very scary. No, you might not be able to see the face of the driver. In fact, because he's also
driver,
very, you know.
right.
So these things, and when you're coming to the guest, your tires, the car tires might be sanitized. When you're coming, your luggage might be sanitized first. You would be asked to for Arogya Setu app, whether do you have Arogya Setu app or not.
Oh,
Because this is a new normal, in fact, because
yes.
everything has to have this app. Otherwise, the hotels will not be giving you accommodation in the hotel. When you come, then you will be offered a sanitizer. And when you are coming in at the reception, you can't go and stand, holding your hands at the reception itself. You will have to stand 6 feet away. What they say, this is the new normal. You might have a sneeze guard as well at the reception as well, for as a
Oh,
protective wear. You might see face shields on the reception of the staff. You might not be able to see the smile. Now you'll see for coming few days. You'll not Guests will not be commenting on the smiles, because a lot of guests come. He or she has got a nice smile. So these things will go off. The humane touch would be minimal. Uh, this also worries me, but I'm very confident we'll bounce back, because our Indian hospitality has to do with more with humane touch.
true, true.
And you'll see all of a sudden, good morning, good afternoon, good evening going off for a while. You'll see namaste.
Namaste.
That's
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 trending more now. It's
that's
already
the
started.
Yeah, it's already started training, in fact. And from there, in fact, even if you will see a contactless dining, people will not prefer coming to the restaurant. They will prefer food being delivered to the room itself. I can't completely, you'll see a lot of digital thing. People will be, from the mobile, they can scan the QR code and they can go to the lift. They can use the elevators, go to the room.
Right.
Even in the rooms, you will see in the corridors, you might see sanitizers.
Hmm.
And you might see only gone are the days when we were having rubbing shoulders, in the lift. You will see only, a person standing outside the lift, only, the and only two people can, be inside the lift. So these are the few new normals. And even when you enter in the room, you might see a sanitizer in the room as well being kept. See, the rooms are sanitized as per, all the chemicals which are being prescribed by all the government authorities. We're adhering to that. But this is the new norm. You will see digital check-ins, digital checkout, e-check-in, e-checkout. Because, and you will see a lot of now transaction happening not online. In fact, so online mediums will be more
More.
this more online. So I mean, this is what I personally feel. I'm only worried about the human touch what we Indians have,
Miss.
but
Right.
I think that we will not be able to contain it for a long time. Once the vaccine is out, we will be back to the normal. In fact, I would say.
Hoping for the same, sir. The vaccine should be
And
out as
yeah,
soon as possible.
just to add to the last, in fact, the COVID-19 crisis will pass. In fact, just like once that came before it. In fact, be it SARS, be it 2611,
No, thanks.
and the hospitality industry will serve it patrons. In fact, just like
Mm.
it has been doing it for the centuries. In fact, this I'm very confident of. In fact, hoteliers are known for their passion of what they have for their business. In fact, this is what hoteliers are known for. In fact, and
Right.
and I will say that it will take a lot more than a virus to get us out of this industry.
So it's really difficult to visualize the experience what you explained us, but we are a little bit scared about that experience. We would like to see those smiling faces and the open environment always, wherever whenever we visit the hotels and this. So hoping for the same and keeping our fingers crossed. Best of luck for the new uh, side of the hospitality, or the new session of the hospitality, to you and your complete industry. And thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's been great
Yeah.
talking to you, sir.
Thank you, Manal. Thank you, Manal, and stay safe. In fact, and let's hope
You,
that
you,
we go fast. In fact,
you too. Take care, sir. Thank you
thank
so
you,
much. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.